So, Don, let's see now. I'd like to make some comments on that other tape there. If I can remember any of the things that you mentioned to me about the country and western. Well, it was a little difficulty, I had to make a whole day of it here on that. We don't mind. And we made you quite a bit there. That'll suffice for the time being. About the 45s, I'll get out to Charlie some evening during the week when he's not tired and not too busy. Let him go through them and pick out about 50 or so, and we'll try to record some more of your favorites there. And as far as that, I just picked a big stack of them off the top of that pole, the pole you just made to put them on there. And we just cleaned them up as we went along and put them on. I didn't know that there was only one side on those things that you were interested in. I played both sides so as to get some distance on that tape. So that was the reason they were jumbled up the way they were. But I imagine that makes good listening, especially at a party. And you have quite a sizable reel there of 45. I think I gave you a full 5-inch reel on that. Or was it a 7? I forget now. So that's so much for the 45 RPMs and what have you. And about a couple of those songs that you played back, they're all hat to us here. Of course, we have all those records here, and Jimmy has a whole stack of country and western, as we've said a couple of times before there. So all of that stuff is not new to us. And there's a couple of songs in there that a little sentimental setup sort of knocked me lopsided there for a little while, but they're real tear-jerkers, that's for sure. And that one, The Last Word in Lonesome Is Me, well, that suits me very finely. That's the sort of song that I have to sing there. So all in all, on the music, there's nothing new to us. I mean, you're not popping at something we haven't heard before. And I got a big bang out of you telling me that they're going to give me Jimmy's telephone number and all of that there over the tape. By golly. I'm well recorded on all those things here. We have them all, and we endeavor to get the different ones on. I haven't been able to reach Tommy yet, and I'll try to get Grandma tomorrow evening. That'll be Monday evening, and I'll run that off to her there. Jimmy was over here today, as you know, from the other side of the tape, and he copied his first hand here. And I got to run it through for Charlie there too tomorrow evening. He wants to listen to comments you made to him, because he accused me at the supper table that he hasn't heard the last 3 tapes sent over. So I have to make sure that he hears this one. He heard them all. He just he has it mixed up with the ones I sent back to you. Some of the ones I sent back to you he hadn't heard, but there was nothing on there from him anyway. Oh boy. It's getting around to 7:38 to be exact, 1938. And I think after I finish this little discourse, get this tape started somewhat, I'm going in and take that long promised shower and shave there, and get my gear ready to go back to the salt mines tomorrow. Boy, these 2 days off really go like a shot. And I've spent most of yesterday out in at least in Mastic Beach. Went down to the cemetery for a little while early in the day there and cleaned up around, pulled some weeds, and checked out that section down there. And then I went out to Grandma's for dinner out in Mastic Beach there. We had a New England boiled dinner, which was very delicious. Tenderloin, potatoes, and onions, and carrots, and all that stuff all boiled together. It tastes very good. I had a few glasses there with Uncle George and knocked the golf ball around for a little while. I don't know if I mentioned this to you on the last side of this tape. I'll be repeating myself again and again and again. And spent a very pleasant afternoon there yesterday. And today I've been mucking around the house here up until when I started fooling around with this. So I hope that little section of reception on the amateur bands don't drive you to absolute boredom there, Don. But it's a way of filling up the tape, as you say, when you run out of conversation. Yeah, one good way of doing it anyway. I'm not going to put any music on this tape at all. I'll just get even with you now, just for that. How do you like them there apples? The FM band has been kind of quiet tonight. They pop in every once in a while there. I had an invite to go to a party up in Bayshore one of the guys had last night, but I was kind of pooped. I was 2 we gotta get home and hit the hay here. And like I mentioned before, Charlie and Jimmy wanted me to go with them tonight to see the Green Berets, but I'm not up to it tonight. I had a kind of a rough weekend last week and a rough week this week working, so I wasn't too full of pep this weekend. So let's see what else. I want to make some other comments on some of the things you spoke about over there. Well, when I go through that tape again, I'll make quick notes on it. About me repeating myself, that's a failure of mine. I have a habit of doing that. I have a very good memory, but it's very short. And I might make repetition of things I said previously on the tape, but just excuse your old man and don't get all so excited about it. I'll hit you right in the teeth. I'll say hello to Libby and the gang there. I sent you 2 letters, incidentally, Don. One I sent a letter week before last, and then last week I sent you a letter with an application to sign for that bank account. I tried to get it through, but they want your signature on the card. It's self-explanatory. You'll get it you'll get all the info on it when you get the letter there. You should have it by the time this tape arrives and have it on its way back here. Oh yeah, one thing I wonder while it's in mind about that loan for $2,000 at the bank. I know definitely they won't give it to you being on the other side. I'd have to take it out in my name. And I'd like to avoid that if possible. I don't think you ought to go into the expense of that much money of buying a car over there because, well, how can I put it? You might get a lemon and be stuck with it, and what recourse will you have with it, trying to get rid of it and everything else and afraid to send it home? If you take your old man's advice, get along as best you can for the time that you have over there, and then get a good car when you come home. You'll have enough money in the bank at that time to get yourself a nice automobile. Won't have to go through the bother and expense of shipping it over. And of course, as I said, you buy a car on the other side. If you get stuck with a lemon, you're stuck with it. If you buy a foreign-made automobile, it's pretty hard to get the parts around for some of these cars. So my advice to you would be to forget about that. And I know it's negative on as far as you getting the loan in your name. They wouldn't give it to you through me and for you. I thought they had this type of thing in the service where you could get an advance of money against your salary and pay it off right from your check. But gosh, don't do that either. I'd rather see you wait until you come home and buy a car in the States here. How can I advise you on these things? I know you like to have the car, and I can see your point in having one there. It would give you more freedom to run back and forth to where you wanted to go, but by the same token, I want to see you put yourself in jeopardy by getting hooked with something over there. And I'm not being mean, but I got too much on my back now, and with this job, it's only a small pay. I doubt if they'd give me a loan of that size. To be very, very truthful with you. And I don't have that much ready cash to send it over to you out of my own. So there we stand, old buddy. As I mentioned to you a few times before, this is a great expense here for me with running this house, and it should have sunk right into my bankroll. And of course, I put some of my money in securities and stocks and things like that, and I wouldn't want to touch that because that's my future. And to sell them now, I'd probably lose a lot of money by selling any of that stuff, so it puts me in a really embarrassing position to try to explain this to you. But that's the way it goes, and you'll have to know about it, old buddy. As you know, I don't get any extra help from Pat anymore, so at least the whole expense is on me, so it runs pretty hard. So what am I going to say? By golly. Real interesting conversation here. I'm just searching through my mind for anything else that I can remember from your queries on the tapes there. Let's see.